Every little step I take, you will be there. Every little breath I take, we'll be together. All right. we like this is one of those that laugh is like a it's not funny, but it is funny. It's one of those laughs is like, what did I just watch? So this is the bad guy himself, Kenny. This is the Bad Guy Spoken podcast. So I'm doing a review of this documentary. I love a good documentary. I don't watch every single one that comes out. Usually I kind of wait until they're like either go viral or it's just like the title catches me. This one was called Unknown Number, the high school catfish. Now at first it didn't like, oh my god, I gotta watch that. It wasn't like that for me. But I said, you know what? I'm hearing a lot about it. Let me go ahead and check it out. And when I tell y'all, I'm mad because this is one of those things. This is one of those situations where why? It's like, why did you do that? Like, it's like that kind of thing. Now, this is gonna be a spoiler review, so I'm gonna start off with a non-spoiler review. That's how I do all my non-spoiler review. Because this is real life, so it's not like, oh, they could have did this and this. Like, I can't come at it like this. This is just wow. This is just crazy. So I will say I recommend checking it out. It is worth the hype. The way they pace it, the pacing of this movie, is it a movie? Pacing of this documentary is like, okay, like you all in. And then you find out who is cyberbullying these kids because they like the person that sent it starts off kind of light, like, hey, like the cyberbullying starts off like little girl gets a text message. Like these kids are 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. They're getting text messages like, oh, you need to drop him. He doesn't love you. He doesn't care about you, blah, blah, blah. You guys aren't gonna last, blah, blah, blah. So it started off light. And then it turns in like then it's like um the girls are giving out blowjobs. You don't do that. He's not gonna stay with you because of that, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like, oh, I seen you were playing basketball and you had a bad game. Yeah, go kick. Like it was like you're trash. Never play basketball again. Never play basketball again. And then it kind of escalates to kill yourself or we're going to do it for you. If you don't commit suicide, then we're going to do it. We're going to take you out ourselves. We have to take you out. We have to take you out. We don't like you. Nobody likes you. And the world's going to be better without you around. Like it turns. But like I said, non-spoiler review first before I get into the spoiler review. Like I said, documentary will keep you keep you interested the whole time. There is no slow moments. You just watch it like, what? This is up there for one of the best documentaries I've seen. Um, it's still not better than Abducted in Plain Sight. I always say Abducted in Plain Sight is the wildest one because every 10 minutes we hear something crazy. But this one was crazy too. Okay, now let's get into it. So, like I said, if you don't want to get spoiled, you got 10 seconds. Go ahead. Go. All right, I'm about to spoil it. Okay. So, when we're trying to figure out who this person is, and it's like, man, could it be this person? And they're going girl by girl. They're going to the guys, trying to figure out who did it. And the thing about this is, remember, these are 12-year-old kids. This is how it starts off. Starts off, they're 12 years old. And this goes on for, if I remember correctly, 22 months. So a better part of 2 years. And it's just, like I said, these text messages are so crazy. And like I said, it starts off little. It's always like we start off with the couple. And I'm thinking, because we find out it's the mom. My thing about it is this feels like a couple things. Three things in my opinion what I was thinking when I was watching this. One, of course, mental illness. But the thing about a mental illness too, it's like, dang, like she really, like really need to go get checked out. Like you tripping. But at the same time, this person was playing victim. Like when they did find out it was the mom, because they were trying to figure out who it was for a long time. They're trying to figure out who it was, and they got and that's the thing that makes me mad too, because it's like we trying to figure out who's bullying these kids. These kids' lives are affected because of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just she's texting one kid; she's texting multiple kids this crazy stuff, and these kids are getting the blunt of the punishment. Like they're getting accused of it. So it's like, okay, it could be her. Oh no, and so because of her, they all jumping on her now. And it's like the one girl was a jerk, but she was like, look, I know I'm a jerk and all, but I ain't do this. Like she was like, look, I know some stuff in my past, but I ain't do this. Another girl was a quiet girl in school. She was like, look, I know people say about quiet girls, but I had nothing to do with this. She was getting text messages too. So for us to finally figure out who it was, and it's the mom the whole time, and it's just like it's wild that, like I said, that's what I said. It's three things. Because the first one for to be like the mental illness to be because one of them, like the messages were telling her to kill herself, all kind of crazy stuff like that. And if you don't kill yourself, then I will. When they find out it's her, because the first detective didn't really do much. That's how all these documentaries all go. Every time they call whoever it is, the local police department, they ain't worth two dead flies smash, man. They always trash. They're always hot garbage. And then when they get the actual like FBI involved, that's when the FBI is like, hey, I want to do it. I like they be like, look, we gonna take care of this for you. And that's what happened here. So it was for all that to happen, especially like I said, you did no kind of research. You didn't investigate the parents either. You just kind of like, oh, well, we're gonna go to the bottom of this. You didn't investigate nothing. But it's somebody close to them because anything they do gets reported back to them. It was like that kind of thing. Everything you do gets reported back to you. And one part that was a good clue I just thought about just now was when they were like the girls were talking about it. Like the girls, they were like, yeah, I was getting text messages. I was getting text messages. They were like, we were trying to conduct this little test that in order to flush out who it could possibly be, I said it to the girl's named Lauren, the main girl. They were like, anything I said something out loud around Lauren, it got back to me. This is what I had to do. I did the same thing at work. This funny thing. I did the same thing at work to try to flush out who the work snitch was. We say something out loud, like, oh, it's him. But like, but like with this, that's how like they were like, oh, okay, it's her. They were kind of like pointing. They were like, okay, it might be Lauren. She's like, I ain't saying this to myself. So it was wild to find out it's the mom through all this because all the parents were trying to come together, and she was all like, "We need to figure out who did it." It's like the person that stole something from you, and they help you look for it. That's what the kind of energy she was giving off. So, and it felt so like I said, you got mental illness, but it also felt like those are the two things for me that felt like it also felt like jealousy and attention seeking because the things she was coming at her for, the daughter, it was considered to be the perfect relationship with her. I forget the guy's name now. It was like Ron or Ross, something like that. It was something like that. But it was like a perfect relationship between those two. It was like the perfect, as perfect as it can get. But then it was like they were like this person, and it being a mom, was like, hey, what she say? She was saying stuff like, "Yeah, y'all not gonna last. You got to give blowjobs if you want to keep him." Like, which is wild stuff to say. Like, they're 12. Like I said, they're 12 years old. At 12, I'm trying to think. 14, you're a freshman. So they're like seventh grade. Like you're barely getting out of like middle school. You're barely getting out of sixth. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the way our schools was like kindergarten through fourth, then it was fifth and sixth, then it was seventh and eighth, then it was nine through 12. So for us, like that junior high stage, like it's crazy. Like, you're just getting out of middle school. We call that middle school, that fifth and sixth grade. Just getting out of middle school, like you still got arts and crafts then. You know what I'm saying? Like you still was like when I say arts and crafts, I mean like some assignments was like color this. You know what I'm saying? They had us coloring stuff. And it's like, that's crazy. Like you still coloring in class. Like you just got out of coloring in class. And then your mom's hitting you with like, You need to get more blowjobs out if you want to keep your man. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking? We're still holding hands in school. What are you talking about? Shoot, like back then in 7th grade, when I had a girlfriend, all we did was hold hands. At the craziest thing we did in 7th grade, somebody got a kiss. And they like, "Ooh, you got a kiss, bro? Yeah, I got a kiss, bro. Yeah. Not on my cheek, on my lips, bro. She kissed my lips, bro." I was like, "Ooh." That's as crazy as it got. And you talking about something, you need to get your boy, you need to give him more blowjobs if you want to keep him around. Because he want to be with somebody like me. I'll be creaming. And it's like, what? This is stuff she was saying. She was saying stuff like, "Yeah, I'll be creaming. You ain't got." She's look. This little thing. She was saying stuff about her body. She was like, "You ain't got no ass. You flat back, flat back. You got on leggings. You ain't got no ass." She is 12. She's supposed to have no body. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was insane the stuff they were saying. And for it to be the mom the whole time was crazy. And it's just like, what? And the daughter, this is why I feel bad for the daughter, because with the daughter, you can tell she loves the mom for sure. She still loves the mom. The mom is obviously sick in the head, obviously sick, and has a victim mentality because it wasn't because she didn't take no accountability in this thing too. When they found out it was her, she was just like, it started off as like because this thing she said she didn't start it, but she started doing it because she was looking for the person who did it. So talking to the people, to the victims as that person, she felt like she can get a clue of who it could possibly be by how they would react. That was her. That was what she told us. That's what she told us, which, in my opinion, makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? That's like that don't make. That's like a rape victim. You're like, I had to try to rape him to try to figure out why they try to. It's like that doesn't make sense. Like that mind state doesn't make sense. That's why I was like, what? So sorry. I mean, maybe to y'all it makes sense. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. So that was her reasoning. I think, in my opinion, I think she started from the beginning. And like I said, she was seeking attention because it was like because like I said, she was jealous of the relationship between the daughter and because they try to twist it low key at the end. They try to make it seem like, oh, I think she was in love with my son and this and this. I don't think it was that. I don't. I don't think it was that. I think it was just a jealousy because it seemed like she was jealous because the daughter was just a perfect daughter. Oh, my daughter's won all these because remember they showed her she was flexing the medals and they showed her flexing the medals. She was playing all the different sports. She was playing basketball, she was playing volleyball, she was playing soccer, she was playing all kind of different sports. Same with the boyfriend. He was doing basketball, baseball, football. We saw him doing all kind of stuff too. And they both were getting all kind of awards. They were the star players of their team. And and then so like I said, so you got that going on. You got a perfect relationship. They balling in sports, they're getting good grades for what we know so they not pop they like semi popular, so it just feels like you hating a little bit. So I feel like that's what I'm saying. That's why I said the jealousy and attention seeking because I feel like you can be jealous, you can seek attention, but this is where the mental illness aspect kicks in because then it's like you went to instead of being like happy for your daughter, you went to I'm gonna try to get her. I'm gonna tell her she sucks. No, so stuff like that. So now she's playing bad in basketball, and you're like, man, we're gonna. And that's the crazy to be like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. And it's crazy to do all that and then tell your daughter to go kill herself. I got a daughter, and it's just like I couldn't tell. I don't know. I couldn't tell my daughter that like. And I'm pretty strict when it comes to her. I just couldn't. It's just being strict and crazy, but like I just like I would never fix my lips to say kill yourself to my child. It's weird. And then because it's this is one of those things, like I said, I just finished watching it, and it's so much to unpack because it's like You did this for 2 years straight to the point where she had lost her jobs, right? There's one part they said I think she had worked 2 different jobs, and they said she lost both jobs around the same time. It makes sense because you probably was texting on the job because you were trying to keep this thing up because you text and they said she was texting 50 to 60 times a day. They found tens of thousands of text messages between her and other people. They end up finding out because, like I said, the original detective or the original police policeman, whatever, who was looking into it, did no research. That's like I said, every documentary is like this. Do no research. The FBI comes in, they try to figure out stuff, and then it's like something clicks in their head, like, let me try to look into this. And then they find out that the IP address was like a horror movie. It was coming from inside the house, like the whole time. They said it was all points to her. And then they went to the house and she was like, what's going on? Like she was still acting like she was, yeah, what's going on? What's going on? They're like, bro, it's you. What? It's you. Okay, okay, it was me. I ain't started, but I kept it going, and it's like it's dumb. But yeah, I think she started it. I don't think there was ever a point where she wasn't doing it. In fact, she had a whole computer off to the side. You got to you got some kind of rush out of doing this, to your kid, which is crazy. Which is crazy because you also got to think, like I said, our minds aren't fully developed at 12 years old. That's why we can't make no decisions as teenagers, for real. You can't make no decisions because you're 12 years old, your mind's still developing, you still trying to figure out your own self. We ain't gonna put you in charge of nothing. So telling a 12-year-old they're the ugliest person you've ever seen through text messages, telling them they suck at sports, their relationship isn't gonna last because you're not sucking dick enough, because you like I said, the stuff she was saying was crazy. You're wearing leggings, knowing you have a flat ass, and it's like you're saying this and your kids' confidence, your kids, like, they're gonna get to the point where they start feeling more and more and they told them to kill them, like I said, they're feeling suicidal, they're feeling like, "Man, you don't even wanna go to school." Like, they had to took the one kid from school, the one jerk kid. She was like, "I didn't do this." They took her away from school for a year. Like, they went to a whole nother school for a year and missing out, like, and that's the thing too, like, cause she was not only was she messing her own child's life up, she was creating a wedge between other random kids because everybody's blaming each other for who's doing. So you're the talk of the town now because you're doing this, and then you're asking police like you're really trying to help out. We gotta get to the bottom of this. What else do you guys know? No, you just gathering information like you Dexter or somebody, just trying to make sure that that like all your what's the word I'm looking for? All your ducks are in a row, and it's just like this thing was just wild. This was just wild from beginning to end to me. I just and here's the fact, like through all that, so when like it's a lot. I'm sorry. So when you get to the point where they find you, they go to your house. Your husband's your husband has to work way longer now because you too busy because you ain't working right now because you lost both of your jobs and you at home. You supposed to be in charge of the finances. You ain't got a job. You faking like you got a job. You don't even got a job. And then this man's like, bro, I got it. He's selling his prized possessions to try to keep up. Try to keep up because you ain't trying to get a job because you too busy texting these niggas. Like you can't stop texting people. It's crazy. This is crazy. And then when they find out it's you, they and this is the most disgusting part of me. This is the most disgusting part of me. They tell her, "Hey, we know it's you. Oh, the IP address is the IP address points to you that you're the one that's doing it." They're telling her this, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, does my daughter have to know?" What are you talking about? Yes, we're gonna tell them. And the thing was, they didn't charge her with enough. They only charged her with it was one count of what was the charge they got her with? Let me make sure I got the charge they got her with because it was some bullshit too. With multiple counts of stalking and using a computer to commit a crime. So she got 2 counts of stalking, a minor, and was sentenced to 19 months to 5 years in prison. So here's my thing. So she was in prison. I think they said she was in prison for a year and a half. If I remember correctly, a year and a half. This is my thing about this too. It should have been more charges because you got 2 counts of stalking, you got using a computer to commit a crime, you have lewd, like, I forget the name of it, but it's just, it's just pretty much talking nasty to children. If you talking about, yeah, suck dick, I'm creaming, or stuff like that, you talking crazy. Talking about lewd acts with children. That's also like a sexual harassment thing too, because you texting them like, yeah, I can do what she can't do. This and this. And that. You take texting crazy stuff with a minor. Like I said, these kids were 12 when you started. 12, 13 years old when you started this. It ended 22 months. So they're about 15 when you started it. When you ended. And and like I said, she took no accountability for this stuff too. I'm just so stuck on it. Like I said, I just finished it and I just went straight to this and started recording. And she tried to, like I said, she tried to justify it and was like, well, my whole thing about victim blame. The victim blame also is playing victim is it's one thing to be like, I had a bad life, so it led me down a path of crime. I was trying to steal, but this was just it's one of those things where it's like this was unnecessary. That's my thing. That's the whole thing. My whole thing is like this whole thing was unnecessary. You were contacting random kids, just saying crazy stuff for no reason. There was no reason behind this. And then you were like, at the end, she was like, "Yeah, I got raped at 17, so I just didn't want my daughter to go through." What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You talking when you got raped at 17. I don't want my daughter to go through this, but you told your daughter she needs to start committing start sexual acts if she wants to keep her boyfriend because she gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like pretend to be this other kid. Yeah, because we gonna do it. We we gonna try to get him because you can't keep him. Close to the point where you end up having to you broke the relationship up. He tries to move on to a new girl out of town, and you blowing her parents' phone up, and they talking about some what? Why I got text messages? You know, so they blowing her up and the parents up. They're like, nah, this kid. I'm sorry, but you can't date this kid. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, bro, you come with too much baggage, and you ruin this kid's life, bro. Like this dude's like, bro, I can't even move on from y'all. Like I'm trying to, what I'm saying. I'm like, I wanted to make it work with her. I tried. This stalker messing this up. Try to move with somebody else. I can't even go with her. I was like, golly. So it was understandable at the end where he's like, bro, I ain't got nothing to say to the daughter. Like, I don't want to hang with her. Which sucks because the daughter did nothing wrong. But at the same time, it's like, I get it. Why he's like, I don't want to be over, I don't want nothing to do with them. He's like, being around them messed my life up. And I get that. And it's yeah, this whole thing was just nuts. The way like I'm sorry to keep saying that, but like I said, this was like I said, this is a fresh genuine reaction. Because like I said, I literally just finished it. I stopped the thing, stopped the Netflix, and just started recording. And it's just like I said, the more I think about it, it's just crazy because because they brought up Munchausen's disease, which I can see that where you're like, it's what because to me it feels like that person that's poisoning you, and then you're like, I don't know what to do, and then you give them the medicine to fix it, and now they're dependent on you, kind of like a pimp. So that's understandable. Um, to where it could be that it could be Munchausen syndrome, but this was just so crazy. It was just the fact that like she was lying, she was looking all crusty too, like 'cause they zoomed in so close, you got all kind of she was all crusty and stuff. I don't. This was just, like I said, it was just a lot. So when they interviewed the mom, and she's just crying like, I don't, and so my fault. Let me go back. So let me go back. Let me go back real quick. Let me go back before I say that because I don't know if the most disgusting part to me. I never said this. I'm sorry. I went off a tangent. The most disgusting part to me of this whole thing was when they called her and she says, my daughter has to know. Well, yeah, your daughter has to know. They bring the daughter in, and they're telling the daughter like the way the dude told her too was kind of woozy. He wasn't like Yeah, your mom did it. So your mom doesn't. He was like, we were looking. He was talking in circles, and I can understand why the daughter was confused because she didn't understand what was going on. She was kind of like, what? Basically, they told her like, yeah, your mom did it, but they did it in like such a way like, yeah, we were looking into this and we were able to, to look into this investigation and unfortunately we was somebody close to you and I think it might be your mother. Like I said, but they didn't even say like that. That's still like I'm still making it sound better than what the way he did it. He said it so crazy that she was looking like, huh? And then they were like, yeah, your mom. And then she was just like the mom grabbed her up, like hugging her, like they found out who the murderer was, and it, what I'm saying, like it was somebody else. Like we're gonna get through this. Like it's you. I feel like Ice Cube. It's you. It's you. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, why are you hugging her? And you got your head on her, like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm worried about her right now. Where if she's safe? What are you talking about? You the one talking about if she don't commit suicide, you gonna do it for like what are you talking about? She was insane, bro. She was insane. And I think, like I said, I just think this whole thing was due to jealousy, attention seeking, and mental illness. And that's just my take on it. That's what I think this whole thing is. And it's just, it sucks. That sucks for a little kid to have to go through that. Her life is ruined, and the daughter, even through all that, the daughter was like, I just want to hang with her. That's my mom. I just want to chill with her. Like I want to establish a relationship with her. Not even realizing like you're not safe. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like I'm that person that's gonna tell like it is. The daughter's not safe. If they get to the point where the mom was able to get back in the house, you never know. You might not ever wake up again. You might go to sleep one time and your mom take you out. You never know with the way she was moving. She was moving so crazy, and she told you should go kill yourself or somebody or I'll do it for you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And then they showed her with the daughter when she was like an infant, and she was like, "Well, I just heard those first breaths, and what are you talking about? No, man, you don't love her, you don't, because you wouldn't put her through that. It's sick. That's the only thing to describe it. It's sick, and it's just like I said. I felt bad for those kids because all their lives were ruined because of this. Because it's, what I'm saying. She infiltrated. She was the basketball coach, the baseball coach. She was all the different coaches. And you went in there trying to get all this information. You used the information against your daughter and her friends. Got these people in a frenzy. Parents were scared to even keep their kids there because of you acting a fool. You talking about threatening to kill kids. You telling them to commit suicide or what I'm saying, telling them to commit suicide or else. And it's just like, for what? And that's why when the lady like when his name is Owen. I said Ross. I think his name. Oh, God, I remember the Owen's mom. She was like, why? She was like, did you get what you wanted out of this? Like, why did you do this? And she didn't say nothing, but it was just like, why? And then she was and the mom was talking about some, yeah, it started like she made it seem like it was just like she didn't take accountability for nothing. Nothing she did. She was just like, yeah, when it happened, I was just trying to get to the bottom of things, and then it just kept spiraling out of control. I don't know. Like, it just felt like, but you did it for 2 years straight, sending 50, 60 text messages a day to the point where you lost your job. Like you were losing your job, and that's why I think you lost your job because you had two jobs, lost them both. I think you lost both your jobs because you were texting on the clock 24/7 because you just had to get that last message out to your daughter, which is insane. And my brother said about this. He was telling me before I watched it. He was like, "Hey, it's good, but they could have shaved off 30 minutes." I personally don't think so. I think they paced it perfectly to the point where I was all in, and then when they did it, I was like, "What?" And it's just there's something wild about it's the villain that's helping you try to find the villain is crazy work to me. Well, it would never not be crazy to me. Like Dexter, Like that Dexter when it was like the Dexter TV show, the fact that he's the killer, he trying to help find the killer, and then he lying to them, and they trying to figure. They like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like that whole thing is just crazy. And to look me in my face and be like, we're gonna find the people who did this. That's like Tupac and Juice. We're gonna find the people who did this. We're gonna get them. It's you the whole time, which is nuts. But I know I've said which is nuts probably like 30 times. This documentary was nuts. Like I said, this is top three documentaries for me. I would say this is probably number three. Number one being Abducted in Plain Sight. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out because it's one of the wildest ones, the older one. I want to say it came out a little after quarantine, but that one was wild. And then I would say number two would be was it Killer Sally? I love that one. That one, bro. When them dudes, this buff, these two bodybuilders. One was abusing the male bodybuilder was abusing the female bodybuilder, and and he ends up getting murdered one day, and they try to figure out who did it, kind of thing. That that's a good one. That's a good one. Definitely go watch that one. But yeah, like I said, this was a lot. It's a lot to take in. Like I said, especially like I said, we just after just watching it, it's a lot to take in. But if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend seeing it. If you have seen it, tell me what you think. Um, I feel like I said everything that I wanted to say. Because like I said, this was just so wild that like I just ended it and I was just like, what, bro? Like why did you do it? It was like, why did you all this could have been easily avoided. That's my whole thing about that. When it's something like this, what I'm saying? It's one thing if it's like the Tinder swindler. It's like this is how he make his money. He steal. So not saying it's right like that, but it's like that makes a little more sense. He's like, I take unsuspecting women, I steal from them, and then go on these trips, do what I got to do. That's one thing. You flexing, get these people off guard, and you steal their money, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like you're a thief. But this was like you just were just were just causing drama and scaring children and parents for what? That's why it's like, why? Why did you do this? But yeah, jealousy, mental illness, attention. That's what I'm going with. There might be something else, but I just like I said, this is a lot to take in. But I'm gonna end it right here. I do want to thank y'all for watching. This is definitely one of the craziest documentaries I've ever seen in my life. I might rewatch it again just because of how wild it was. But yeah, that lady's insane.